Thank you, sir.
Excellent. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Dr. Vishnathan. Thank you, VIT, the team, the faculty for having me. It's a pleasure. And as I was walking in, I came in last evening. So I'm a storyteller, so you hear a lot of stories from me. As I was walking in, I came in last evening. I was walking around the campus late around 7:38. It was exuberating with energy. There's just so much energy in campus. It charges you. It makes you want to do things. I mean, that's the power of the students. That's the power of all of you. I remember 25 years back, and all parents, without exception, have expectations from their children. So 25 years when I walked in, to do engineering, and again computer engineering. And computer engineering, in my mind at that time, IT was a support function. IT at that time did not have a seat on the table, which means it was not in the decision making for company. Today it is cool, right? So I remember when I walked in with the bag load of my parents' expectations, there was a want to make a difference, want to learn, want to contribute, right? And that's what all of you have. It's extremely important that the college provides you that. So you should really have a heart full of thanks to Dr. Vishnathan to have this vision of putting this together, this university, this setup, right? Which enables you to unleash, and let me pick up your graVITas lines, and they were beautiful lines, to venture, to inspire, to transform, and truly unleash your passion, right? Unleash your genius. So please use it. These times don't come back again, right? Learn and make a mark for yourself, right? So on this note, thank you again for having me, and it's a pleasure to be here. Last month, 2 weeks back, I was doing this tour across. So I went to Europe, then I was in US to a few cities, and then I went to Mexico, right? My family was happy, right? I was away, the kids were happy, right? No one was asking them to study. But the interesting experience during my travel. So when I was in the European belt, when I was in London, over discussions, you could sense their anxiety, right? For UK, the GDP shrunk again for one more quarter. So they're shrinking as a country. That's why you see India making it to the top 5 club of GDPs, and Dr. Vishnathan spoke about it. And it's not going away. With the Ukraine war not seeing an end, right, with the crisis which is going on, the Europe energy crisis is still a way to go. So there is a huge anxiety in the European belt, in the UK belt with Brexit done away with. And you see that part of the developed countries under huge stress on cost, right, on healthcare bills with the aging population. So that part of the world is going through that. Then was the US patch, and it was interesting discussion. So I was having a dinner, with someone, and his father was 84 years old. And then one comment of it struck me, right? He said, with the inflation, right, the interest rates for home loan, 12 to 14 months back was sub 1% there. Now they're running from 5 to 7%, depending on, and the true impact is really going to hit them, because everyone, when they take a home loan or any kind of a loan, they sign a maturity period of 2 to 5 years. So it's slowly hitting the US economy. He said, my father, who's 84 years old, asked me, that son, I don't have enough money in my bank now. Do you think I should start working again? Right? And that struck me. Right? Look at a developed country which has never seen this kind of inflation. India has seen it, right? India has been above 5% for a long time, here and there, both sides. So the US belt has seen unprecedented inflation for various reasons. The pandemic triggered it. So that patch of the world, right, while is leading still, is coming with things they've never seen in the past, right? And that's opening up new areas of work for them, new areas, they're welcoming changes. Then was the last part, which was Mexico. And again, Mexico has a lot of IT, and I'll keep giving you an IT flavor. Over my discussions, Mexico tends to get a lot of business like India because of their near time zone with US, right? From places like Monterrey, right? If you go towards the part of US, it'll take you around 2 to 2.5 hours. There the currency is appreciating now versus dollar. So the cost arbitrage, and that's how all this outsourcing business once started, right? And India led it at some point in time before we got into deep tech expertise. They are struggling and they're worried now that if this continues, will Mexico get that share of business which they're getting, or will move to the Asian countries, right? So that's the dilemma and anxiety towards that side. So each part of the world, right, is in a volatile situation today, if you look, for various reasons. Be it the Ukraine war, be it the energy crisis, be it the sustainability focus, be it the de-dollarization, and there lies the opportunity. And that, at the light end of the tunnel, right, India is the bright star, which is where you see India now coming in the forefront. We are in the top 5 club of GDP. The target, and I keep reading articles and I do hope we make it, is to become in the top 3 by 2030. And if we truly make it, then the next few decades are of India, right, as a superpower. So that's the opportunity for all of us, that's the opportunity for India. And I really wanted to share with all of you, right, 25 years, everyone used to ask me, so you're doing computer engineering, when are you leaving for US, right? Now I see a lot of computer engineers say, oh, I want to be here. I was having this dinner with a very senior recruitment head of a hyperscaler, right, 2 days back. And they were setting up an ODC in Bangalore. And he's been away, he was there in college with me. And he was sharing, right, that within his company, there is so much of trust now, and a lot of folks who moved want to go back with the compensation levels rising and with the kind of opportunities which are coming in India. So please use it, right, to unleash yourself, reach your dreams, get to where you all want to be, right? As India really opens doors as a country, and there is no better place to learn than in VIT, which is giving you so many opportunities. The next interesting part, I wanted to talk about. See, overall, now if you look at the IT, and I love talking about IT and cloud, right? That's my area of expertise. Overall, the 7.2% of GDP of India, right, comes from IT. And overall, if you look at it, with 7.2% here and a lot of actions around made in India, and with the pressures China is in, right? So interestingly, while China did beautifully well in the last 10 years, today they have 20% unemployment in youth, right? The commodity prices in China are struggling. They just had the largest real estate company, it's a 3 trillion company, go through a huge, bankruptcy issues. So they have their own struggles, which is giving us a lot of IT, which is giving us a lot of manufacturing base, and then that's the opportunity for the country and an opportunity for all of us. So coming back onto the IT, right, and it's interesting. So last year, in 2022, India had 1,300 startups, right? And again, if I go back 15, 20 years back, everyone would assume that you will start working, right? At least I didn't think of starting a business when I passed out of my engineering college. We are the second largest after US now at 1,300, right? So we are in the top unicorn club. So the entrepreneurship part, right, which I see it also is the theme of this, the festival. Please use this, please experiment at early age to try to do things. And India really has a head start now on the startup space. The second big area which is doing very well for India, right, and for IT, is the deep tech part, right? So earlier we were only largely shared services and entry level voice call center, right, as one used to love calling it when BPO started in India. It's slowly moving towards the deep tech areas of AI, ML, of robotics. And those are the areas which are at a talent level, at a skill level, are really opening up. And they really open up deep careers for all of bright minds. So that's another area you should all keep in mind to work on, to experiment as they grow. So, so we are the second largest again on global shared services. And again, and one is seeing it in the next 12 to 18 months, from the way the applications are coming again, there are another 500 shared services centers in India expected, which means on an average 500 into 20,000, if you take an average, the kind of jobs it will open up on the IT side in India. So it's an interesting time, great opportunity for the IT folks. And finally, cloud part, and that's the most interesting part. See, the good part about IT is that whether there is euphoria, like it was before 29, right, or post that during remote working and other areas, IT always is on a high wave. So whether there is euphoria or whether there is pain. So euphoria is for growth and pain is for survival. One would need IT. And that means IT will remain as a bright star for the country and India is a bright star for the globe for the next 10 to 20 years to come. Interestingly, let me talk about cloud more now. So cloud, right, and is an interesting area now across the globe. And I was addressing a lot of analysts and advisors across the globe when I traveled. Clearly infra, and that's how it started. And since a lot of you folks are in IT, I want to get a little technical, right? A lot of work will move from on-premises, right, which people do in data centers, to the cloud. And when it moves, how it moves, do you move it rightly, how much do you move, right? So on the infrastructure side, on the application side. So what code you write, do you re-engineer the code, do you rewrite the code, do you package the code? These areas open immense opportunities at a career level, and I will talk a little more about it. If you look at and data and analytics and AI is the hot top, and you know, this is also interesting. So when I was in SFO and I was attending, last 1 month saw Google Next. How many have heard about Google and Google Next in this room? Give me a show of hands. Google, guys. I thought India had the largest share of the Google touch time. So Google Next, right, and SFTC when there was in SFO. So the taxi driver was driving me to the airport, and it was a long drive of 1 hour. So he asked me, "Sir, you went for Google Next?" I said, "Yeah, I was there." He said, "Yeah, I've been dropping a lot of folks there." And he said, "Tell me, sir, is this AI going to be a hype cycle again, like metaverse, right? Or it's really very deep like cloud?" First of all, I looked at him. I was really impressed, right? Look at his interest, look at his deep understanding of the area, right? While he was in San Francisco. But very, very thoughtful points, right? So IT is seeing a lot of hype cycles, right? At what time everyone was only talking about blockchain, right? Then came metaverse, and then they're great areas, right? AI, now, which is now across, right? So interestingly, when I was in Google Next, there were 230 display stalls. So I sent one trainee with me to count out how many stalls did not have an AI name tag in their brochure or in their display. There were only 4 which did not have AI written. So AI is all over. It is like, it's pervasive now, it's like oxygen. And in my personal view, right, AI will really empower, and I'm using these words consciously, will really empower and not overpower if used well, if used ethically. And that is where huge opportunities lie. And the opportunities are about transformation, be it in the education, be it in healthcare, be it in entertainment. You would see AI slowly, right? And then give the current angles of laws, like Europe has a lot of GDPR rules and equivalent privacy rules. As countries find answers, you will see phenomenal growth happening on the AI side and on the data side. So it's interesting. See, cloud typically impacts on 3 areas. Cloud touches, for IT, which means I am an IT head. I want to move my applications. I want to give an uptime, right, on the laptops. It gives for business. So, I'm Uber, right? And I want to run a cloud native application. So I can use it for business. And then use IT for innovation, for doing new things. So cloud cuts across in all these areas, across applications, across data analytics. And finally, the area which really is going to make an impact, and since you guys are getting into festival, right, and on the technology side, is going to get into specialty clouds. So soon you will see a pickup more, and there are already signs of healthcare clouds, entertainment clouds. So that's the new wave of clouds in the multi-cloud area, and there is just so much happening there, and there is just so much to do. So with this, and I'm being a cloud fan, I'm sure a lot of you guys, right, especially the IT guys, will embrace cloud. But I can tell you, a lot of cloud areas will go on the IoT side also, right, on the specialty cloud side, like this, the robotic arm I was seeing. A lot of this actually you will control remotely, right, from far away, sitting somewhere, and run some of this. So with this, right, again, happy to be here. Thank you guys, it is a pleasure to be here. With one final comment, right, as the world changes, right, working from anywhere, contributing, the models of working change from full-time employment to partial jobs, hourly billing, we have very less of it. Globally, that's very high. Make sure that you use this pedestal when you're in college. Experiment so that you guys get the best version of yourself and do well for yourself. Thank you, and thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the motivating talk. We request Chancellor Sir to present a moment of remembrance to the guests.
Thank you, sir. I would now